Hi, welcome back. My name's Matt, and this is another episode of Is It Worth It to Rent Out Your RV? Just a recap of our channel here. We are a family of 5 from Fridley, Minnesota. We are part-time RVers. We do have a plan to go full-time, but in the meantime, we are on a mission to visit or camp at all of Minnesota's 67 state parks. I think we're up to 23 now. And in addition, we also have our own little RV rental business. We started last year renting out our Mallard M185 bunkhouse. It went pretty well, so over the winter we talked about it and decided to add a second rig. So this spring we bought a Grand Design 2400 BH and we rent both of them out. And every month we do a little update video showing you how it's working out. We talk about what's new, what is interesting, and some of the issues we've been having. So August here, some of the new things that we're doing a little bit differently. Number one, we've actually been doing this for a while, but I don't think I've talked about it in a video, is that we've joined some Facebook groups that cater just to people that rent out their RVs, and they've been a great resource. There's one specifically for Outdoorsy. I think there's one for RV Share, and there's kind of one that is just for anybody that rents out in general. And it's been really good. I'm checking these sites every day. You learn so much through these sites. Sometimes you might have a question, you can throw it out there, and people are pretty quick to give you a pretty good answer. But what I like is when you're renting out your RV, you're constantly troubleshooting things that pop up, issues that your renter might have while they're out on the road, little things that break or don't work right. Well, you can monitor these Facebook groups and you can see the problems other people are having, and you can kind of troubleshoot problems in advance that you might have down the road, and then by seeing what other people have done, you'll already have an answer for when it happens to you. And it's just kind of interesting and fun to see how it's working for other people. So if you're going to rent out your RV, definitely find a Facebook group to get involved with. Another little addition, obviously we have third set of keys for our campers, but we got those little hide a key things so that there's an extra set of keys for the renter when they're out on the road. I guess these Grand Design 2400s are pretty famous for people locking their keys in them. Hasn't happened to us or a renter, but just in case it does, I've heard horror stories too of people not being able to get a hold of the owner and having to call a locksmith or drilling out locks. We don't want that to happen. So extra set of keys on board both rigs. Another little thing that we fine-tuned, we've been doing this for a year and we're still learning, we're still fine-tuning, still tweaking things to make things more efficient. Right when you get an official booking, you start this communication process with your renter, and we're finding out right away to ask these 3 questions right off the bat. And sometimes you're weeding out people that might not be a good fit, or vehicle that's not a good fit, I'm saying. Number one, we have people measure their hitch height. I've talked about that before. We want to make sure that everything is set up just right for when they get here. We also want to make sure that they either have a brake controller, or if they don't have a brake controller, we actually have a wireless one that they can rent, but they have to have a 7-pin controller or 7-pin connection for their vehicle. And a lot of people some people don't even know what the difference between a 7-pin and a 4-pin. We had an issue once where somebody booked and they ended up only having a 4-pin. You can get an adapter from a 4-pin to a 7-pin, but it won't operate the brake controller. So we're trying to just really be efficient at weeding those things out right away when somebody makes a booking request. Sometimes you might have to cancel it if they don't have the right equipment. Sometimes they have to get some new equipment on their vehicle. But that kind of makes me go into my next thing of what we're doing new is I got this Kurt wireless brake controller. It's only been used, I think it's been used 3 times now, and it actually works really, really good. So you plug it into your tow vehicle, then into the camper power supply cord, and then they actually operate it through an app on their phone. And we also charge $30 a trip for it. It was $220, I think. I think we've rented it out 3 times, so we should have the thing paid for itself, if not this year, going into next. But it's nice to have because it just it kind of opens up who can rent your RV. As far as issues that we've had, it's been kind of a month of a lot of little things. Number one, I kind of want to talk about our stovetop. So we got these Grand Designs come with this Furrion stove. It has a 3-burner stovetop on it, and it has this really nice flip glass lid cover to it. They look really nice, but we did. Apparently, they're kind of fragile. We had a renter break it on their trip. Felt bad. Really nice guy, and he wanted to do the right thing and take care of it. So bottom line, working with him and the factory, we ended up getting a new one, and it didn't come out of our pocket. But the dealer was saying when we ordered it that apparently this happens a lot with these glass lids. They break, and but so that was one issue we had with the stove. Another issue that I have with the stove, it doesn't light very good and it cooks uneven, but I guess that's pretty common for most RV stoves. But the surface for the stovetop, it looks like a painted metal, but I don't know what kind of paint or whatnot. It stains so bad. Like, we have some stains on there that we cannot clean off for the life of us. We've tried everything, and now this last renter brought it back, and there's even more stains. And I don't know. Let me know if you have a Furrion stovetop and your stains really easy. Let me know if you guys have that same problem, and if you do, what you're using to clean it off, because we're struggling to keep that thing clean. It's already looking pretty grungy. Another issue we've been having is screens. If you're going to rent out your RV, get used to fixing screens. I think I just rescreened our Mallard door for the second time. The Grand Design this month, I had a couple windows I needed to fix. And what I'm doing is, if I have to replace a screen, I'm actually buying more heavy duty screen material at Menards. You can get this, it's called pet screening. It's just really thick and it's more durable. It's harder to put in, but it's definitely going to be, it's going to hold up better. But I'm also looking at 2 products that might help too. They make this guard thing that you can attach to the inside of your screen door. And I also want to get a screen grab handle. I think these screen doors don't have a real good spot to grab to, shut it or open it. So I think if I had a grab bar on there, especially with little kids, it'd be a little more clear as to where to grab the door, so then you're not pushing in on the screen. Another small issue we had, or a renter had when he was out on the road, we had a renter call the second day in, and he snapped a key off in the door lock. He admitted his fault, dumb mistake, but he took care of it on the road. He found a Camping World and bought a new handle, installed it himself. So again, it was an issue that the renter took care of, no money out of our pocket. This was actually a really big issue that another renter had. They took our Grand Design out to Wyoming, and a couple days into their trip, we got a text and it said, "We broke down, call us." And at first I'm kind of freaking out, thinking there's something wrong with the camper. What, did an axle break, or what happened? But turned out they have an older diesel Ford truck, and basically their engine blew up, and they just kind of wanted to keep us in the loop. They weren't sure what they were going to do. Obviously they had to get their truck towed, but our camper also had to get towed to a nearby campground. And they were kind of scrambling to figure out, did they end their trip then and somehow figure out how to get our camper back. They were looking at maybe having a family member drive out there from Minnesota to haul with a truck to haul it back. What they ended up doing was renting a rental truck, and they continued on with their vacation and brought it back. We actually gave them an extra night for free. We just had them pay an extra day of insurance, so it's covered obviously, but kind of felt bad. They lost over a day with that hassle with their truck, and they have a really big pricey bill now, basically getting a new engine put in their truck. So we try to work with them to salvage what they could with their trip. So those are kind of some of the issues that we had last month. As far as interesting things, one thing I was thinking about talking to Jamie, my wife, is I'm surprised at how many couples rent our campers. We have 2 bunkhouse campers, and I thought we'd get nothing but families renting out these rigs. But we've actually had a lot of couples renting these out, and I don't know why that is. Maybe I should just flat out ask them. I'm afraid to ask them because I don't want them to think oh yeah, why am I renting a bunkhouse? I should go look at a couple's trailer. But I kind of want these repeat customers. But so I want to look into it myself. I don't know if there's maybe there's not a lot of couples campers out there. And if there's not, I don't know, maybe in the future we want to look at getting a couples camper to rent. But we've had a lot of non-families rent out our bunkhouse campers. Another interesting thing is we're kind of learning. Obviously, if you want to use your own campers, you have to reserve your own campers well in advance. So at the end of August, there's this racing event up in Brainerd, Minnesota that my brother and I do, and this year I brought my son with too. And months and months ago, I made a reservation at a nearby state park, and I told my brother, hey, it'll be great. I got this new 29-foot RV. It's air conditioning, 2 TVs. It'll be great. We'll stay at the campground and style and comfort, and then we can just head to the racetrack during the day. And he was excited, I was excited, and like I said, the event was at the end of August. Beginning of June, my wife handles all the reservations. I said, hey Jamie, we need to reserve the big camper for me for the end of August. And she looked at the calendar and said, oh, sorry Matthew, that one's booked. I said, oh, that's no problem. I'll take the Mallard. We'll take the small one. And she looked it up. Well, that one was booked too. So even though I got 2 really nice RVs, ended up having to tent. Went on my own little tenting adventure. But it was okay. It was kind of fun. I haven't stayed in a tent, I think, in 20 years. But we made the best of it, and it was fun. So anyways, yeah, that's our month of August, the good, the bad, the ugly. Now we'll take a look at our calendar, and I'll walk you through the spreadsheet to show you how much money we made this month. All right, let's take a look at our August calendar here. This is a calendar that you would see if you went into Outdoorsy.com. We like using the Outdoorsy calendar versus the RV Share one. It's just visually, it's a little easier to use and work with. We also use a physical calendar as well. So with the Outdoorsy calendar, all the entries in green are Outdoorsy rentals. In red, you can list your camper as unavailable if you have it rented out through RV Share or if you're going to use it yourself. So you can see this whole first week in August is when we used our camper. Actually, we took both off the market. We did a group trip with my family and my twin brother and his family. Fun trip. We're going to do a video on that in the near future. So you can see August was a good month for rentals. We did not have one day where a camper was sitting idle. There was a camper out on the road every single day for the month of August, and most cases, both campers were out on the road. Only a couple days, here, a little stretch here and a little stretch here where we only had one camper out at a time. And also in August, we had a couple of really long rentals. This one was about a week. They went out east to Michigan and then down to Arkansas. And then here they took our big one out for, was that 10 days or so to Yellowstone. So I really like the long rentals. Give me 2 good long rentals a month versus, 5, 6 shorter rentals. It's just less camper cleaning, less setup, less instruction, less back and forth. I like the long rentals. But anyways, that is our August calendar. Let's take a look at our spreadsheet, which shows our income. Take a look at our spreadsheet here. I'll walk you through how I have it laid out. So column A here, this is all the months, obviously. And then you can see that I have January, February, March, and then December blocked out. We're in Minnesota. We don't really rent out our campers during those months. And then each RV here I have in here twice to reflect each company that it's listed with. So you can see the Mallard RV Share, Mallard Outdoorsy, and then our Grand Design Imagine through each company as well. Then if we go over here, this is gross income. This is all the income taken in after the rental companies take their cut. Expenses for now, I just have RV payments, insurance, and then any maintenance things that come up. The number jumped up in March because that's when we added our second rig. And then you can see in July here, we had some bearings done, a new battery put in our Mallard. That's why it jumped up there. And then net income is obviously gross income minus our expenses. So let's take a look at August here. The Mallard brought in $876 through RV Share, $441 through Outdoorsy, and then our Grand Design Imagine $487 through RV Share and $2,000 through Outdoorsy, and that's reflecting those 2 long rentals that we had. So our gross income for the month of August was $3,832 after our expenses. We netted $3,449. So that puts us at $11,251 for gross for the year. We've had almost $3,000 in expenses. So far this year, we've netted $9,632. Now, one thing that I am going to do when we get towards the end of the year here, this isn't reflecting all the accessories and, cleaning supplies and stuff that we've purchased. I'm going back and forth on whether I put that into each month for expenses or just kind of have one big column for accessories. But, you know, roughly I'd say we might have like 1,500 in additional startup expenses and cleaning stuff. So that net income is going to come down at the end of the year, but that's where we're at. Yeah, August was a good month, our best month so far, you can tell. Going forward, Minnesota, the rental season really starts to wind down going into September. We do have a good amount of rentals on the books. I'll show you a little screenshot of what our calendar looks like for now. And then we do have a couple on the books for October. We have some people inquiring about November, but no commitments yet. But even if the season ended right now, this is beyond what I expected, and it's been an interesting year with COVID. They're saying it's the year of the RV, so I think rental demand is probably going to be higher this year than we'll see in other years. But who knows? Maybe this trend will continue. Maybe people are seeing different options for how to do their family vacations. I'd love to see next summer be like this summer. But that is our spreadsheet. That's our numbers for August. So that's our August update. We'll do another one of these at the end of September, obviously. And stay tuned. I got a lot more videos coming up. We've done a lot of trips. I'm kind of backloaded on videos right now, but we got some Harvest Host videos to do. Sibley State Park, Crow Wing State Park up by Brainerd. And we also did a couple more camper walk around and reviews. So a lot more coming up. Again, thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.